Hey guys, it's Lovely. Every day is lovely. Welcome back to Allele Origin. We left off, I was getting harassed by this guy. It's been maybe a few days, if not a week, since I've been back in this game. I kind of forgot his name. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna front. I think it's Lucas. I'm 100% wrong, but it's okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and just dive back into this. Pretty sure this is my save. We were on chapter 3, I believe. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's see what's next. Isaac. I said Lucas. My bad. Okay. Since having dinner with Master Isaac, life at Castle Terraslin changed for the better. Nathaniel would wake you in the morning and help you get dressed and groomed. At night, he'd help you to change into your night clothes. Why though? Question, only because, like, am I not functioning at this point? Why does he need to change me? But whatever. The rest of the day, you had complete freedom to roam around the castle in your leisure. It's giving Beauty and the Beast. The master and servant spent most of their time in the west wing, in the master's quarter. I'm telling you, it's forbidden type shit. Though the area wasn't explicitly forbidden, well, I be speaking too soon. It seemed safer to simply avoid them. There were plenty of other things to do and explore in the castle. Were there, though? The only place forbidden is the front gate. Buddy. I wonder how they brought that up. Like, you literally can't leave. Oh? There were no more ritualistic baths in blood. No mention of feed. Since the dinner, you weren't offered any food or drink at all. You weren't sure if the master was waiting for you to make a request. But so far, you haven't felt any hunger or thirst. That's good. But kind of concerning. Several weeks passed quietly in this way. This morning started off like any other. Nathaniel had just finished placing the final accents on today's outfit when he made an offhand remark while gently brushing her hair. I mean no offense, madame, but I must inform you out of concern. Despite tending to your hair as lightly as I can, you're losing quite a bit of it. Oh God. Your body may be in need of nourishment. He shows you the brush as evidence. It's covered in fresh, thick clumps of tangled... That's super cool. He's literally ripping out my hair and is like, girl, it's the brush. It's not me. Like, no, it's you, Nathaniel. I don't believe. Not that it's any of my business, but he's like coming from a third party with absolutely no opinion on the matter. It's better to take care of the hunger early, before it becomes all-consuming. Here's the thing, Nathaniel. Nobody wants to explain anything around here until shit gets dicey. That's my issue. Why am I just finding out now? I need to eat a lot more. Like, y'all couldn't have brought this up, or feed. Exactly. This hunger shit, what are we talking about? I do care about her loss. I'm gonna go with what does he mean by hunger, because, like, explain yourself, bro. You haven't felt hunger since you woke up in this place, and that's mad concerning. So you're not sure where he got this assertion from. You doubt that you'll suddenly become ravenous out of nowhere. You ask him to explain where he is getting these ideas from. He shrugs with a condescending smile. Though Madame is not exactly the same as the other nobles of Terraslin, at this point, I can assume your appetite may be similar. They tend to forget that their body requires nutrients, so the body takes over and demands it. The body can be quite feral on its own. Huh. The butler bows to excuse himself. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I can't stay here all day. Again, no explanation, vague, talking in riddles. I don't like you, Nathaniel. You know where to find Master Isaac if you need to make any requests. Do I, though? Do I have the floor? Do I? As usual, he will attend his duties in the West Wing. Upon exiting the room, Nathaniel leaves the hairbrush, still covered in clumps of your hair, in the center of the vanity. Thanks. A rather openly passive-aggressive act. These people are really too interested in your dietary habits. I'm telling you. With such a distasteful centerpiece drawing your attention, you're eager to leave your room. The rest of the day is yours to claim. What will I do with it? What would you like to explore? I'm heading straight for the basement. Don't know why. I can't leave, so this is gonna be futile. Library, again, I'm not Belle, but like maybe I'll be there at some point. Courtyard. Fresh air sounds good though. The West Wing. I don't care to run into Isaac. We're going straight to the basement. You haven't dared go in the basement since you've been elevated to the ground floor. You've gotten braver since your first... Since... I can't speak right now. Hold on. I'm okay. I'm okay. You've gotten braver since you first arrived. Maybe there's something you overlooked before. Possibly. You descend down the staircase to the basement. You're not sure if you're doing this in hopes of uncovering some kind of hidden secret. Or you could just want to face some of your old traumas head on. This is the first time you've been back down here since you were being held captive. Taking a torch, you tread lightly. Despite having spent a decent amount of time down here, most of it was spent tucked away in some corner. You don't have any clear idea of what the overall layout is like. I'm ahead. Imagine to sleep. I'll explore. Hit that right corner. As you head down the right side of the cellar, you see nothing but empty rooms. One of these rooms could have been the one that you were kept in, but it's hard to distinguish one from the other. After walking for some distance, the area diverges into two more paths. And I'm gonna bust a left. You decide on a random whim to follow the left wall. You still haven't ventured so far that you can't remember which way you've turned. Not too long before you come to a dead end. This room is filled from ceiling to floor with bottles. Oh. They're labeled by year and appear to be kept in chronological order. From the red color of the contents, you can assume this is what Nathaniel referred to as feed, or what you would call blood. Let's take a little sippy sip, because I'm already making bad decisions, so... Your mind wanders back to the beginning of the day, with the butler issuing you a stark warning, waving the brush-covered hair. Perhaps stumbling on this reserve was an act of fate. Selecting a random bottle, you manage to pry open the cork. Bracing yourself, you take a big gulp. It coats your throat nicely with a smooth, soothing feel. Without thinking, you manage to down the whole bottle. Oh, you're restored. 0 blood. Filled with a giddy sense of satisfaction, you decide it's about time to go back upstairs. Okay, period. Hopefully there's enough time left in the day to enjoy some other activities. Your steps feel lighter than before as you make your way back to the main hall. Okay, did that. And now, I'm ahead to the courtyard. Where you can see from the windows, the sun is out and the sky is blue. Looks like a lovely day to spend outside in the gardens, especially now that I have a little pep in my step. I'm down. Ooh. You step outside into the courtyard. It's a beautiful warm day with a gentle breeze. Okay, weatherman. You can smell the pleasant variety of flora from the rich gardens. Walking around here always helps to clear your thoughts and lift your mood. Why would I leave? Walking around the garden, you habitually start to follow your usual route. When something catches your eye for the first time, you notice along some area of the garden wall, the plants have become overgrown. The butler must not have gone around to trimming it yet. I don't believe. You chuckle mischievously at the thought of Nathaniel overlooking such a detail. He wouldn't. As the vines look sturdy enough to climb. This could possibly be a way out. You wouldn't dare try such a stunt in broad daylight. So you tuck this bit of information away in your mind for a more opportune moment. When you finish your usual tour, you turn back to the main hall, your mood feeling notably lighter. I'm proud of myself. Found an escape route and ate. All good. It's a good day. Where would you like to explore? Let's go to the library. The library is full of educational and religious reading material. There should be plenty to keep you busy. You never had the opportunity to read much, so it would take you a long time to get through the extensive collection. After perusing the collection, you honed in on a few titles that seemed particularly useful. Oh shit. It's a lot of books. Leave, imagine. I'm ahead to... Ooh, these are pretty good, interesting. I'm gonna look at the Ashbourne family lineage. Yep. Shit, okay. Agnes Ashbourne. First blessed mother, burned at the stake. Great. Catherine Ashbourne. First heir, burned at the stake. Nice. William Ashbourne, second heir. Death unknown. Sweet. Edward Ashbourne, third heir. Death unknown. Mary Ashbourne, fourth heir. Burned at the stake. Margaret Ashbourne, fifth heir. Burned at the stake. Isaac Ashbourne, sixth heir. Sixth? Did I say that right? This book must be hundreds of pages in length. But the vast majority of the pages are filled with names that are blotted out with thick black lines. You're able to find some names simply because the pages were bookmarked, among the thousands upon thousands of names that were crossed out of existence. Okay, so a lot of people burned at the stake. That was good to hear. Let's look at the ritual of the sacred ashes. Every prospective heir should begin the ritual at the age of 3. Oh, okay. Every moon, stir the ashes and pray to the eternal bringer of life. Once a bone fragment emerges, keep it covered in the ashes. The bone will become the shape and size of a skull by the time they reach adulthood. Okay. Pulverize the skull to a fine powder, mix with the blood of the prospective heir. Ask for the blessing of the eternal, drink the entirety of the contents. If the heir vomits the contents, chain them in the basement. They have failed to receive the blessing and will be cursed to another form. If they successfully digest the contents, watch them closely. If their eyes turn red by the next full moon cycle, they've been blessed. If not, chain them in the basement. They will become cursed eventually. Okay. Right. You long suspected that after everything you endured on the examination table without dying, you might have some kind of special power over death. You had no idea it was this powerful. What you've read about the ritual, it sounds like an elaborate way of saying, every time your ashes start to form into bones, crush them and eat them? Do this and maybe the imperviousness to death will be transferred. Okay. The calling of the Ashbringer? The Church of God was jealous of the eternal bringer of life, but they had demonstrable proof of their divine power over sickness and death. In order to keep their waning faith, they tried to destroy that which they could not possess. They gathered an angry, fanatical mob to destroy the Institute of Natural Philosophy. Ceasing the eternal bringer of life, they foolishly burned them at the stake. Okay. One lowly servant pitied the eternal bringer's mistreatment. After the execution and the celebration was over, they carefully stole the ashes, placing them in a ceremonial jar to honor their remains and prayed their spirit find peace. However, one night after praying over the urn, they had a dream. They were told that in exchange for protecting the ashes, they could be spared from the plague. They were taught the secret ritual of sacred ashes and changed their surname to Ashbourne. Huh. Yeah, sounds like it. Okay. They'd been spoken to in their dreams by the same voice you heard, or if they had made up their own way of using your remains and dressed it up as a fairy tale story. Either way, you'd feel a bit touched that someone had some shred of compassion for you. At least enough that they cared to write about you in a sympathetic light. Okay, so I'm basically her? Bringer of life? Interesting. I guess we'll just go in order. I'm about to butcher this. Hang on. Mortuorum vivorum pestis, I think. Otherwise known as the plague of undeath or simply the sickness. The first wave of that occurred in the year 0 AP. Symptoms appear to be much like jaundice, yellowing of eyes, fever, and flu. Patients would also turn to a grayish complexion. My siblings had this. Okay. And everyone else. Expiration was typically within 10 to 30 days upon showing symptoms. They've developed a treatment, 27. Prognosis improved to 10 to 20 years, with occasional symptoms manifesting. Second wave occurred in the year, like 100 years later. Though those thought to have expired became animated in a conscious but not coherent state. In this phase of the disease, patients could remain animated for months to years, depending on the rate of decomposition, varied by size, humidity, temperature. Oh, okay. Due to the aggressive and resilient nature of these carriers, second wave exploded proliferation. It was impossible to contain. More treatments were developed to prolong the health of the afflicted, but nothing resembling a cure could be found. For every step of improvement made, the sickness adapted. Subsequent waves marked the evolution of the disease. Yeah, that. I wonder what kind of treatment was developed in 27 AP. And if it had anything to do with the experiments you endured on the table. Given the progression of the sickness, I wonder if there was some kind of bitter karmic justice being served. I'd like to keep reading about the subject, but the first volume ends here. You haven't found the companion volumes yet. Backwoods. Somewhere in the North Country, there is a savage tribe of pagans. They follow secretive ancient oral traditions. Outsiders are treated with hostility and violence. No one has been able to learn their language or pinpoint their villages. But by what we have managed to observe of their culture, they appear to have much in common with other early semi-nomadic earth-worshipping cults. Due to their extreme intolerance and resistance to conversion, we classified them as dangerous enemies to the church and state. Attempting to capture is highly discouraged, as they will use any barbaric means to escape, placing the captor in extreme harm. Extermination, or exterminate on sight. Okay, interesting. You never heard these people when you were growing up. But from the sounds of things, they've been living in a secret for a long time. Even if they are still around and if they've managed to insulate themselves from the plague, you doubt that the library would contain information on them. They didn't hold some importance to the Ashbourne family. There are no books for leisure found in this collection. Okay. Okay, so there's like a possible cult out there who may not be affected by the sickness? That's what I'm gathering. Interesting. Okay. Last book of naturalists, philosophers. A discipline of science that was highly criticized by the church prior to 0 AP. They rose to prominence during the initial wave of the Motram. Yeah, as people lost faith. The church tried one last desperate attempt to hold their power, conducting an inquisition. But several members escaped and continued their research in secrecy. A decade later, they introduced a treatment to the world, and enjoyed a century of uncontested public support. In subsequent developments of the plague, when the treatment were no longer as effective, stories of their morally questionable methods began to resurface. The Institute fell under immense pressure, forcing their most infamous members to retreat back underground. Due to lack of alternatives, they're able to operate with impunity, yes, so long as they remain discreet. After suffering for 8 generations, the people are looking for answers. Public sentiment is mixed, some returning back to the church for solutions or blame. You had heard of the term, yep, before. Those Mac people used to operate on you when you were strapped to that table of torture. They use the term often. So that group has a name. They're the naturalist philosophers. This book appears to be in mint condition. By this account, it sounds like they're still around actively practicing. Okay, that's cool. Good to hear. You don't have any more focus for reading today. With a stretch and a yawn, you head back towards the main hall. Okay, someone lit the chandeliers in the main hall. Starting to get late. You should head back to your room. If you're too late, the butler will come looking for you. It's better to avoid all his nagging. You return to your room, already planning what you can, oh my gosh, what you can do should you wake during the witching hours. Okay. Since there's no one to talk to, the butler provides a basket of various things to dabble with. Books for reading, a deck of cards, a small paring knife for whittling, and some sewing bits. And if nothing else, you have a window for stargazing that never gets too boring, as long as the sky is clear. Your plans are interrupted by a knock at the door. Nathaniel must be here to help you change into your night clothes. It's already that time? The day flies since you've left the unchanging darkness of the dungeon. To your surprise, he enters without waiting for your response. Grabbing you by the wrist, he pulls you over towards the standing wardrobe. Let me be frank, madame, as we haven't much time. Attackers are approaching the— Oh. Good to hear. No matter what you think you hear, stay hidden and don't move. We'll come for you when it's over. Great. Great, okay. He shoves you inside the wardrobe. For a few minutes, you can hear him moving furniture around, possibly a barricade for the entrance. Afterwards, there's nothing but a long silence. He must have left you alone to help deal with the intruders. Standing inside the pitch-black wardrobe, smothered by piles of clothing, you decide to... I'ma seize this opportunity. I'm not gonna go front. Well, should I seize the opportunity? Are we ready to go? I'ma seize it. You find it ridiculous to stay trapped here on your own free will. Do these people really think you'd stay put just because you were instructed to do so? If the master, servant, and others are all currently distracted, wouldn't this be the perfect opportunity to make your escape? Push against the door, it seems the butler pushed something in front of it. How silly. You throw your weight back and forth until you topple the whole thing over. Period. Spilling out of the broken doors, you scan your room before heading to the door. The basket of random objects grabs your attention. You snatch the whittling knife. It could come in handy. Pressing your ear against the door before exiting, it doesn't sound like you've drawn any attention. Everyone must be very busy someplace else. Sweet. From the main hall, you can hear the distant sounds of activity coming from the front gate. From here, you decide to... We're going to the courtyard, baby girl. You recall how you discovered the vine growth on the garden wall, and how you were wondering if you'd be able to find a way to climb it without being seen. Now that the castle's under attack, everyone must be too preoccupied to be looking in the flower beds. You hurry, able to make your way over the wall before the intruders finish breaching the gate. I'm leaving. Isaac is constantly trying to kill me. I'm not doing another dinner with that man. I just can't. Clutching the knife close to your chest, you run over towards the courtyard. As you expected, the courtyard is untouched. There's no sign of any outsider invasion from within here. You remember the exact spot where the vines were growing thickest and head straight there. Thankfully, the butler still hasn't gotten to trimming it. Holding your knife in your teeth, you test the strength of the vines. Also, I ate, found an exit, read some books. I'm ready. After confirming that they are perfectly capable of supporting your weight, you scale the wall with surprise ease. Perhaps all the playing around on the farm came in handy after all. As you reach the top of the wall, you look down from the dizzying height. The castle is surrounded by water and protruding rocks. If you were to jump, would the water be deep enough? As you're contemplating your next move, you spot a large, hulking, hooded figure several yards away. Oh. They're also sitting along the top of the wall, and their bright yellow eyes have also spotted you.
Hello.
Hello there, friend. The person throws back his hood and offers you a friendly wave. It's you! From the cover. Didn't expect to see anyone else here. You look like you're trying to find a way down. Was the ever so righteous Duke holding you hostage, eh? Yeah. Yes, he was. He takes a step towards you casually, as if you weren't precariously perched on a 30-something foot wall. His stride is remarkably balanced and light in his wide, lumbering build. Reach for your knife. That part? You wonder why he's bothered to ask such a trivial question, considering the current situation is hardly conductive of friendly pleasantries.
Relax.
Ah, don't be impatient with me just for asking. I can't make these kinds of assumptions about the Duke and his people. Someone like me could get in a lot of trouble that way, you know? With a few more wide steps, he's closed the gap between you. Hey, King. My name's Anthony. You're an enemy of the Duke? You and I should be friends. So what do you say, friend? What can I call you? Period. He's within arm's reach now, and you don't have a lot of room to retreat. His smile is quite sincere, his yellow eyes twinkling with mischief. Feeling pressured and pressed and cornered, you mutter your name under your breath, hoping the answer will get him to back off. Lovely. Lovely. Nope, doesn't ring a bell. You're not from around these parts, are you, Lovely? So how the hell did you jump in a place like this? His words are cut off by the sound of something climbing the wall. Hello? Oops, looks like we've been spotted. Should we continue this conversation elsewhere? Without warning, Anthony lifts you up by the waist, holding you aside with legs dangling over the edge of the wall. He stomps on the head of an ascending other, sending it careening down the rocks below. Wow, okay. Pardon me, I'll mind my manners later. Off we go! With one arm, he lifts you over his shoulder and proceeds to run straight down the wall. Damn. The sudden rapid descent sends your stomach flipping upside down. Okay. With blood rushing to your head, the sights and sounds around you become heightened and blurred. Close your eyes and hold tightly to his shoulder for fear of flying off as the world spins around you. Your center of gravity shifts back to normal and you can hear the sound of grass underfoot. I fucking escaped, you guys. Thank God. You open your eyes to see the castle. To see Castle Jerusalem rapidly shrinking in the distance. The man is slowed to a steady trot, but shows no sign of breaking a sweat. After having a moment to gather your wits, you... I'm gonna ask to be let go. Like, are you still holding me right now? Yeah, let's do that first. You plan to escape from the castle, but how is this any different from being kidnapped? Ouch, that's harsh, friend. I just protected you from that whole battlefield of monsters. You probably passed out since the wall, but trust me when I say, better off not seeing it. Ghouls and carriers, I don't know which is nastier. He stops by the edge of the forest. We ought to be safe in the forest. Or, don't tell me you'd rather I have tossed you back there. No offense, but you don't look like you'd last very long. Thanks, Anthony. I'm not really looking for anything in return. For better or worse, I can't help but pity an underdog. Right. Thanks. He gazes up at the sky, taking in a deep breath. Hey. You're not infected at all, are you? Good mother. I really stumbled onto something. Guess that's why they sent such a large task force. Figure some kind of prize they're hoping to win. Folds his arm. Excuse me. Folds his arms, closing his eyes and nodding to himself in thought. Little teeths. Imagine he's just missing his front teeth. Okay, anyway, sorry. You must really be looking to get out of this place, huh? Poor thing. I wonder what that crazy Duke was up to. I don't even know what the Institute is up to either. Ugh. For now, I'm just bringing you to someplace safe, from either ghouls or carriers. From there, we can figure out where you need to go next. It won't be an easy, but I can't speak. Actually can't speak. It won't be easy, but neither of them have a great sense of smell. The forest will give us plenty of cover. Noticing your uneasiness, he tries to encourage you with a wink. Yeah, winking at me is really gonna settle my spirit. Thanks, Anthony. It's like when you're not feeling good and a guy just sends you a selfie who's like, feel better, and I'm like, I feel worse, actually, but okay. Come on, we better get going while we still have a sizable lead. You can tell me more about yourself as we move. He moves towards the forest, looking over his shoulder at you expectantly. He's weird. I don't know him, but I'm following. Maybe that's a bad idea, but something tells me it's not, so I'm gonna just go with it. He's proven himself to be a strong ally so far with how he helped you escape the castle. His plan sounds just as good as anything else you can think of right now. You thank him for his help so far and entrust him with your safety.
Don't mention it.
Aw, it's really nothing that much. I mean, what's being human if you're not willing to help fellow human out, huh? Interesting bar you just threw at me, because I'm not actually sure if I'm a human. But, yes. I guess not everyone thinks like this. Times are pretty hard, and you probably already have lots of reasons to be wary of others. I feel kind of glad. Sounds odd. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm honored. Through empathy, you learned the skill Pacify. Calm the heart of your target. Use this technique to survive and change the outcome of certain situations. Okay. You follow Anthony deep into the forest. Through the trees and bushes are densely packed. It's always easy to spot the tall man's broad shoulders. The two of you trek together mostly in silence. When the quietness became unbearably awkward, he'd make a few lighthearted remarks or ask you a random question. Like what your favorite color is, or if you have any hobbies. considerate enough not to ask you anything too personal. Now and then he cut you off. Now and then he'd cut off your answers, listening closely for something that you're unaware of. You started to become a bit curious about him. What made him decide to join this coalition raid on the castle? He laughs and tells you it was for the money. Seems like an honest answer. Your feet start to get sore. The uneven terrain is riddled with roots and stones. Anthony suggests you rest the night. He fastens some branches to make a rough canopy. Spreading his cloak over a pile of leaves, he offers you a bed. It's not terrible considering that neither of you came prepared. He suggests you take turns keeping watch and generously volunteers to go first. You lay down, not expecting to fall asleep so easily. However, once you finally stop moving, you realize how exhausted you've become. Close your eyes. Ooh. Sometime later, you open your eyes. The forest is a black silhouette against a starry sky. Your heart is racing. Maybe you just woke up from a bad dream? Or maybe something's terribly wrong. The darkness shifts in front of you. A giant shadow rises over your head. Great. The pale moonlight illuminates a dripping maw filled with teeth the size of daggers. It smells you closely, wet nose snorting loudly. Use skill pacify. 10 empathy. I don't think I have that. Um, 10 empathy? Or I gain 10 empathy? Oh. Okay. I was like, I have 5. Okay, anyways. Tapping deep within yourself, you find an extra source of resolve. Used 5 blood to overcome your opponent's empathy. Okay. Damn, I'm like battling right now. Another man, I think. Because I'm guessing Anthony is like a werewolf, so. Maybe I should see that coming with the teeth. I really did not see that coming with the teeth. Like, was it obvious? Perhaps, but I didn't peep it. I was like, oh, he's kind of dog-like. I'm stupid. Anyways. Holding yourself steady, you offer your hand slowly towards the creature's nose. It's a non-threatening gesture used on your farm animals to make their acquaintance. The creature smells you again, rubbing its muzzle against your palm. Is it just your imagination, or does this beast seem friendly? You muster the courage to take a look closer. Ah, he's got abs. I thought he was legit in wolf form. Okay. Cool. Right. It has a huge muscular body and bright yellow eyes. It stares back at you for a few moments, before turning around and disappearing into the brush. Finding inner fortitude by averting crisis, your max blood is increased to 1. Period. It has a huge muscular body and bright yellow... I read that? With your eyes adjusted to the dim light, you remain vigilant of your surroundings for the rest of the evening, till the sun finally begins to rise. Anthony was notably absent for this entire duration, because it was him, bruh. Don't play stupid. A light breeze, warmed by the rising sun, blows gently around your wearied face. The chirping of the waking birds is the one thing keeping your heavy eyelids open. Just as you're leaning over to doze off, you're snapped back to attention by the sound of footsteps. As Anthony's large figure comes into view, he slows his approach, quieting his steps. You cough loudly, exposing his antics openly. He flinches before rushing to your side apologetically. Sorry for taking off like that. I just realized that, it's a bit of a hike to the next village and we didn't have any provisions. I figured the forest was pretty quiet, so I thought I'd go get something real quick. Pulls a water flask off his belt and a sack with some freshly killed small animal.
Don't worry.
Right. Well, nothing happened while I was gone, so all's well that ends well. Would you have killed me if I didn't have so much empathy and got lucky enough to pick the empathy answer? Like, would I have died with him? That's a high possibility, you guys. Okay. All's well that ends well. We can roast this thing and then head south. How's that sound, eh? Tired as you are, the flippant and dismissive attitude of this person cuts at so many levels. You're not even sure where to start if you feel like calling him out.
You see?
Look at you. You look exhausted. What's in the past is done and over. It's a nice morning. Don't stress over unnecessary things. Boy, if you don't... How about you catch up on that sleep and we figure out all the other bullshit later? Sitting, Anthony folds his arms behind his head and leans back against a tree. You were a dog last night. I don't want to hear it right now. That all's well that ends well. If you know you turn into the full moon, why would you put me in harm's way, bro? Anthony, you're cut. The crook of his neck and shoulders does look inviting to rest against. I don't care. I don't care. He's got that dog in him. And he needs to know that I know that. Admittedly, you're beyond exhausted, and the warm sun is only making you drowsier. I just woke up. Warm body would be more comfortable than the bulky earth or flat tree trunk. Considering he still owes you an apology and explanation, the least he can do is help you sleep better by acting as your body pillow. You accept his silent invitation and lay against his side. Okay. Comfortably nestled, you exhale a sigh of relief. The last few hours of forcing yourself to stay vigilant were akin to torture. Now that you're finally able to close your eyes, sleep overcomes you within minutes. Oh, back to the table where they did things to me. You dream about the table again. This time, someone is cutting off your restraints. A nun covers your wound-inflicted body with a soft blanket. A priest is muttering prayers. Now you remember how you escaped from the examination table. It was a time when the people from the church came. One day out of the blue, they appeared with an angry mob in tow. They broke down the door and helped free you. They smashed everything in that room, including that wretched table. You watched with relief, glee, and gratitude. Little did you know that your rescuers, your saviors, your divine retribution, had planned for you. They brought you to the church. Burn me at the stake, I bet. Wash your wounds and dressed you in clean robes. They asked what you wanted to eat and gave you a splendid meal. You slept that night, blissfully unaware. The very next morning, they'd parade you into the city square and mount you to a wooden stake. Burn them. Burn the devil's bride! Burn them! 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 Burn the devil's bride! Yes. You wake to the steady snoring of the large man sleeping next to you. The sun is high in the sky right now. You must have slept the entire morning away. The dream of promised salvation and heartless betrayal is still fresh in your mind, leaving a terribly bitter feeling in your heart. This person was supposed to be keeping watch again, and once again they neglected their duty. You're tempted to disturb his blissful slumber by knocking his head against a tree. Maybe just do it. But he wraps his thick arms around you, effectively pinning you inside his embrace. He mutters something about friend, such a goofy smile on his face. That frustration and dark emotion welling up inside quickly drains like a spilt cup. You can't help but laugh at the situation you find yourself in. This person you just recently met, who's impressed you as both unreliable and irreliable, recklessly doing whatever he wants, yet shows empathetic consideration. He's so frighteningly strong and yet embarrassingly friendly. He reminds you of the beast you encountered last night. Could they somehow be one and the same? Girl, if you don't put two and two together. Squirm inside his arms, trying to spill free. Slip? Excuse me? But this person is immovable as a mountain. Resenting yourself for now, with a heavy sigh, you close your eyes. You have a lot of questions for him when he wakes up. Until then, resting like this isn't the worst thing to have happened to you. To be honest, it's not entirely bad for once. And we made it. And we made it to chapter 4. And I'm saving. Because I don't trust anything. And that was chapter 3. of Allele origin. We finally met Anthony and escaped the clutches of Isaac. So, yeah. Very interesting. Not sure what's gonna happen next. Chapter 4 is called Hunger. So, I'm a little concerned. One of these boys is hungry. And I'm on the menu. Could be wrong. Or I'm just hungry. Because apparently I drink blood now. So that's cool. That's great. But it's cool. The lore is fleshing out. We're seeing what's happening. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Stay tuned for chapter 4. Let me know what y'all want to see next. And I will see you guys next one, hopefully. Take care. Bye.